be getting started in just another minute. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Johanna, and I'm here with my co-host and dear friend, Susan. So great to be with you all. Thanks for joining our weekly Tong Ren session. Now, before we begin, know that your healing requests have all been set as our intention for today's session. So that means there's nothing that you need to do or think about during the session. Just allow yourself to receive. If it's your first time here, there's nothing that's required of you during the session. So you don't have to follow along with the points that we tap. You can simply just relax and enjoy the energy. And whether your mind stays focused on the points we tap or it drifts, it makes no difference. The healing intentions will still be just as effective. Now, during the session, we focus on 3 key areas for general treatment: the brain, the sympathetic nervous system, and the parasympathetic nervous system. Then at the end of the session, we tap to ground the energy, promoting a deep relaxation for you. Now, based on your request, we have identified specific points for tapping, so each of you will receive both a general and a personalized treatment today. Susan and I will tap for you until a few minutes before the hour ends. Also, if you're tapping along with us today, we really appreciate your support. We are live streaming to YouTube and X, but don't worry, only Susan and I are visible. That said, feel free to keep your camera off if that's more comfortable for you. Now, once we wrap up the tapping portion, I'll end the live stream. And then for those of you joining on Zoom, we'll have a very brief today optional Q&A, but there's no pressure to stay. This is just an opportunity if you have any questions or you wish to share any news with us. Now, as a quick reminder, Tong Ren is a complementary therapy. It's not a substitute for medical care, so please consult your healthcare provider for diagnosis and treatment. Now, before we begin, let's just take a moment to settle in and align our energy as a group. This creates a powerful healing field where the energy can move freely and effortlessly. So find a comfortable position, feeling the support beneath your feet and whatever you're sitting or lying upon. Let your shoulders drop and your hands rest naturally. Palms up will help you feel the energy a little bit easier. Now bring your awareness to your breath and let's take a slow, gentle inhale through the nose. And exhale fully and completely through the mouth. And let's try that one more time. One deep inhale. And release. And as we breathe together, let's imagine a soft golden light forming above us. This light holds our collective healing intention. It's already expanding, surrounding us, and wrapping us in a field of pure healing energy. Whether you feel it or not, trust it's right here supporting you. And remember, healing doesn't require any effort. It happens naturally, so your conscious mind doesn't need to stay engaged for this to work. If you feel yourself drifting off towards sleep, that's okay. The energy is still flowing and still bringing you into harmony. Now, as we move into this session, I invite you to simply rest in this space. The healing field around us is active, and all you need to do is receive. So we'll begin tapping now at CV17. We start at the heart center, a major point for all problems in the chest. This powerful point supports healthy breathing and heart function while promoting circulation throughout your upper body. And moving to the base of your neck, we clear blockages that affect breathing and circulation. This point supports lung function and helps with respiratory issues by opening airways and improving oxygen flow. And just above your collarbone at stomach 12, we activate areas that support digestive health and circulation. This point helps with lymphatic drainage and promotes healthy energy flow to your upper organs. And opening up stomach 9 at the side of the throat, we open pathways that support the thyroid function. This point helps regulate metabolism and supports healthy hormone production that controls your body's energy levels. And just below that, at stomach 10, we strengthen circulation in the carotid artery. This point helps with swallowing and promotes healthy blood flow to the head while supporting voice and breathing. And tapping Li-17, we activate pathways that support skin health and elimination. Located near the phrenic nerve, this point helps clear toxins through proper elimination while supporting healthy skin and detoxification. And tapping Li-18, we stimulate the vagus nerve pathway. This helps regulate heart rate, digestion, and breathing by supporting the nerve that connects your brain to vital organs. And at the side of the neck, we open up Si-16, opening the channels that support brain function and reduce fatigue. This point helps with energy levels by improving nerve communication between your brain and body. And opening up Si-17, we clear up any blockages affecting hearing and jaw function. This point supports ear health and helps release tension in the jaw joint and surrounding muscles. And now moving to your head, to GV24 at the cranial nerve center. we support all nerve communication throughout your head and face. This point enhances nerve function for vision, hearing, and facial sensation, while supporting overall neurological health. And slightly back from that, at GV23, we activate areas that support emotional balance and mental clarity. This point helps calm anxiety by regulating the frontal cortex areas responsible for emotional processing. In tapping bladder 5, we stimulate points that calm the mind and release psychological stress. These areas help quiet mental chatter and promote emotional stability through nervous system regulation. And tapping GV22 at the top of your head, we open a major point that supports hormone regulation and bone health. This powerful area influences the pituitary gland and supports your body's master hormonal control center. And tapping bladder 6, we balance the pituitary gland reflex point. This area helps regulate growth hormone and supports your endocrine system's ability to maintain healthy development and repair. And opening up GV21, we enhance nervous system function and mental clarity. This point promotes smooth electrical communication between your brain's hemispheres and spinal cord. And continuing across your crown at bladder 7, we support bone health and structural integrity. This area helps with calcium absorption and promotes proper skeletal alignment throughout your spine. And tapping at the crown of your head at GV20, we activate a major health maintenance point that reduces fatigue. This area enhances cerebral circulation and supports overall brain function and mental energy. And opening up bladder 8, behind your crown, we calm the nervous system and support brain health. This point helps regulate the parasympathetic nervous system for relaxation and mental stability. And tapping gallbladder 16, 17, and 18, moving back from your forehead, we clear the visual cortex areas that process sight. These points support the occipital lobe's ability to interpret visual information and maintain healthy vision. And tapping GV19 behind your crown, we support memory centers in the brain. This point enhances the parietal lobe's function for spatial awareness and cognitive processing abilities. and opening up GV17 at the center of the back of your head. We activate the brainstem control center. This area regulates vital functions like breathing, heart rate, and consciousness through the medulla oblongata. And tapping bladder 9, we enhance circulation to the cerebellum and the brainstem. This area supports balance, coordination, and autonomic functions while promoting recovery and healing. And opening gallbladder 19 behind the ears. We support the visual cortex for healthy sight processing. This area helps the brain interpret visual signals and maintains coordination between the eyes and the brain. And tapping GV20 at the base of the skull, we release tension where the skull meets the spine. This point relieves pressure on the occipital nerves and supports healthy blood flow to the brain. And moving to the forehead to gallbladder 13, we balance the temporal lobe regions on the right and the left. These points help process emotions and support the limbic system's role in mood regulation and memory formation. And tapping gallbladder 14 above your eyebrows, we support the frontal cortex function. This point enhances the prefrontal area responsible for decision-making, planning, and executive brain functions. And tapping bladder 3 and 4, we calm the frontal brain regions. These areas help regulate the stress response and promote psychological well-being through the prefrontal cortex. And opening bladder 2 above the inner eyebrow, we support the muscles that control eye movement. This point helps with the eye muscles and supports healthy vision coordination and eye comfort. And tapping bladder 1 at the inner eye corner, we enhance tear production and eye drainage. This point supports the tear duct system and helps maintain proper eye moisture and visual clarity. And between your eyebrows, we tap the yin tongue point, stimulating the area above the pineal gland. This point influences melatonin production and circadian rhythms while promoting mental clarity and spiritual awareness. And tapping the Tai Yang point at the temples, We release any tension in the temporal muscles. These points help with jaw clenching and headaches by relaxing the muscles involved in chewing and facial expressions. And tapping gallbladder 7, 8, and 9 around your temporal areas. We support the motor cortex regions. These points help the brain control voluntary muscle movements and coordinate physical actions throughout the body. And tapping triple warmer 20, we support circulation around the ear and temporal area. This point helps with blood flow to the inner ear and supports balance and hearing functions. Tapping SI19 in front of your ear, we enhance hearing by supporting the auditory nerve pathways. This point helps with sound processing and supports the 8th cranial nerve that carries hearing signals to the brain. And opening the Qiangdong point, we support the vertebral artery circulation. This point helps ensure adequate blood supply to the brain while supporting healthy blood pressure regulation. And now moving to the spinal column, we open up all of the points on both sides from top to bottom, energizing your entire spinal column from your neck down to your tailbone. The spine houses your central nervous system, and clearing blockages here enhances nerve signal transmission, promoting proper communication between your brain and every organ system in your body. And tapping C1 at the top of your neck, we support the atlas vertebra that holds your skull. This point affects cranial nerve function and supports proper blood flow through the vertebral arteries to your brain. And tapping C2, we balance the axis that allows head rotation. These points influence the frontal lobe areas responsible for emotional regulation and executive decision making. At C3, we support the nerve roots that supply your eyes, sinus, and ears. This point affects the trigeminal nerve pathways for facial sensation, chewing muscles, and eye movement control. And tapping C4, we support the nerve pathways to your mouth, cheek, and chin. This point affects the hypoglossal nerve for tongue movement and supports swallowing coordination and speech. And tapping C5, we support the radial nerve roots to your arms. This point affects the phrenic nerve that controls your diaphragm and supports healthy breathing patterns. And tapping C6, we support the nerve pathways to the thyroid gland. This point influences thyroid hormone production that regulates metabolism, heart rate, and body temperature. And at C7, we support the nerve connections to the parathyroid glands. This point helps regulate calcium absorption and maintains healthy bone density and muscle function. And moving down to the first thoracic vertebra, we support the sympathetic nerve pathways to bone marrow. This point influences red blood cell production and supports your immune system's foundation. At T2, we support the nerve pathways to the thymus gland. This point influences T cell production and supports your immune system's ability to fight infections and maintain health. And tapping GB21 at the shoulder crest, we release any tension in the trapezius muscle. This point helps relieve neck and shoulder stiffness while improving circulation to the upper extremities. And opening T3, we support the sympathetic nerves to the lungs and lymph system. This important point helps with breathing efficiency and supports lymphatic drainage for toxin elimination. At T4, we support the nerve pathways to the sweat glands. This point helps regulate body temperature through proper sweating and supports healthy skin function and detoxification. And tapping T5, we support the cardiac nerve pathways. This vital point influences the heart rhythm through the sympathetic nervous system and helps maintain steady, healthy heartbeat patterns. And opening T6, we support the phrenic nerve connection to the diaphragm. This helps with proper breathing mechanics and supports the muscle that controls respiratory function. At T7, we support the sympathetic nerves to blood vessels. This point influences circulation and helps maintain healthy blood flow throughout your cardiovascular system. And tapping T8, we support the nerve pathways to the esophagus and pancreas. The right side supports insulin production and blood sugar regulation. The left side influences the swallowing function. At T9, we support the sympathetic nerves to the stomach and liver. The right side supports liver detoxification and metabolic processes. The left side influences gastric acid production. At T10, we support the nerve pathways to the gallbladder and bile duct. This point influences bile production and supports the digestive system's ability to break down fats efficiently. And tapping T11, we support the sympathetic nerves to the small intestine. This point influences nutrient absorption and supports the intestinal system's ability to process and absorb vital nutrients. And finally, we open up T12, supporting the nerve pathways to the transverse colon. This point influences the middle portion of your large intestine and supports healthy digestive transit and elimination. And now moving down to the lumbar spine at L1, we support the sympathetic nerves to the adrenal glands and reproductive organs. This point influences the stress hormone production and reproductive function while supporting your body's ability to manage physical and emotional stress. At L2, we support the nerve pathways to the kidneys, seminal vesicles, and uterus. This point influences fluid balance and reproductive health while supporting kidney function and pelvic circulation. It also stimulates brown fat. At L3, we support the nerve pathways to the prostate and ovaries. This point influences sex hormone production and supports reproductive health and hormonal balance. At L4, we support the nerve pathways to the large intestine. This point influences the final stages of digestion and supports healthy elimination and bowel function. At L5, we support the nerve pathways to the descending colon. This point influences the lower portion of your large intestine and supports coordination of waste elimination. At your first sacral vertebra, we support the nerve pathways to the ureter. This point helps with kidney drainage and supports the tubes that carry urine from your kidneys to the bladder for healthy urinary flow. At S2, we support the nerve pathways to the bladder. This point influences bladder control and supports healthy urination patterns while reducing fluid retention and swelling. And tapping S3, we support the nerve pathways to the external genitals. This point influences reproductive function and supports healthy circulation to the pelvic organs and prostate area. At S4, we support the nerve pathways to the urinary tract. This point helps coordinate proper elimination and supports the muscles involved in the bladder and bowel control. S5, we support the nerve pathways to the rectum. This point influences bowel function and supports healthy elimination while improving circulation to reduce inflammation in the anal and rectal areas. At gallbladder 30, we support the sciatic nerve pathway. This point helps with nerve conduction to the legs and supports healthy movement and sensation throughout the lower extremities. And opening bladder 54 at the back of the knee, we support circulation. This point helps with venous return and lymphatic drainage while reducing swelling in the lower legs. And tapping the liver 8 point at your knee, we support the tendons and ligaments that stabilize the joint. This point helps maintain proper knee mechanics and supports the structures that allow smooth, pain-free movement. And opening stomach 36. Below your knee, we activate a major point that influences digestive function. This powerful point stimulates the vagus nerve and supports the parasympathetic nervous system for healthy digestion and energy production. And opening stomach 37 and 39 along your lower leg, we support the nerve pathways that influence intestinal function. These points help coordinate peristalsis and support healthy digestive movement through the intestinal tract. And tapping the liver 3 point on top of your foot, we support liver detoxification pathways. This point influences the hepatic system and supports the liver's ability to process toxins and maintain healthy blood chemistry. And opening up gallbladder 10 and 12 around the ears, we activate the vagus nerve. These points help with balance and hearing by supporting the 8th cranial nerve that carries sound and balance information. And opening the Yiming point, we support the nerve pathways that regulate sleep cycles. This point influences the parasympathetic nervous system and supports your body's natural ability to achieve restorative sleep. And tapping triple warmer 16, 17, and 18, we support the trigeminal nerve branches. These points help with facial sensation and support the 5th cranial nerve that controls jaw muscles and facial feeling. And moving down the kidney meridian at K26 in the upper chest, we support the lung function and chest circulation. This point enhances respiratory health and upper body energy flow. And tapping K25 in the chest, we provide general support to the heart and lung areas. This point promotes healthy circulation and respiratory function. And opening K23, we continue chest and lung support. This area helps with breathing capacity and circulation. And tapping K22, we support digestive processes and stomach function. This point helps with nutrient processing and digestive health. And now opening up CV13 at the midline in your upper abdomen, we support the vagus nerve pathways to the stomach. This point helps coordinate digestive acid production and supports the parasympathetic control of gastric function. And just below that at CV12, we support the solar plexus nerve network. This point influences the enteric nervous system and supports the complex nerve pathways that coordinate digestive processes. And opening up stomach 21, we support blood sugar regulation. This point helps with healthy metabolism and weight loss. And opening stomach 25 helps to coordinate the digestive function and supports pelvic health. And opening up CV6 in the lower abdomen and CV4, we support the parasympathetic nerve pathways to reproductive organs. These vital points influence the sacral nerve roots and support reproductive health and pelvic organ function. And now we tap the ouch points, which are any areas of discomfort, pain, or tension in the body. This promotes healing where your body needs it most. Releasing any local blockages and encouraging natural healing responses. We also invite the major lymph areas to flow. And stimulate the areas of brown fat. And now moving to the elbow at LI11, we support the radial nerve pathway. This point helps with nerve conduction to the forearm and hand while supporting healthy circulation through the brachial vessels. And opening LI10 on the forearm, we support the median and ulnar nerve pathways. This point helps maintain proper nerve function to the hands and supports the muscles that control finger movement and grip strength. And tapping triple warmer 5 at the wrist, we support the carpal tunnel and surrounding nerve pathways. This point helps prevent compression of the median nerve and supports healthy nerve conduction to the hand muscles. And tapping P6 at the inner wrist, we support the median nerve and its connection to the vagus nerve. This powerful point influences heart rate variability and supports the parasympathetic nervous system for cardiovascular health. And tapping P7 and heart 7 along your wrist, we support the ulnar nerve pathway and the heart. These points help with nerve conduction to the pinky side of the hand and support cardiovascular nervous system regulation. And opening lung 7 at your wrist, we support the respiratory control centers. This point influences the phrenic nerve pathways and supports the nervous system's control of breathing patterns and lung function. And tapping Li4 on the hand, we activate a point that influences pain-relieving endorphins. This point stimulates the release of natural pain-blocking chemicals and supports the body's analgesic response system. And opening gallbladder 31 at the hip and thigh, we support the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. This point helps with sensation in the outer thigh and supports healthy nerve function in the upper leg region. And opening spleen 10 in your thigh, we support circulation through the femoral vessels. This point helps with blood flow to the legs and supports the cardiovascular system's ability to nourish the lower extremities. And opening spleen 9 in the lower leg, we support the lymphatic vessels and fluid regulation. This point helps drain excess fluid and supports the body's ability to maintain healthy fluid balance. And tapping GB34, we support the common perineal nerve. This point helps with nerve function to the lower leg muscles and supports the nerves that control foot and ankle movement. And opening spleen 6, we support the posterior tibial nerve pathway. This point helps with nerve conduction to the foot and supports the parasympathetic nervous system's influence on reproductive organs. And opening kidney 3 at your ankle, we support the posterior tibial nerve and vessels. This point helps maintain nerve function to the foot. And support circulation through the important vessels behind the inner ankle. And finally, on the sole of your foot, we ground your energy and calm your entire system. This powerful point helps ground the nervous system and supports the parasympathetic response for lower stress, deep, restorative sleep, bringing your energy into perfect balance. Now that all of these points are open, we'll continue by charging up the batteries, starting with the upper dantian. The middle dantian, and the lower dantian. All right, and that concludes our session. To everyone joining us on YouTube and X, thank you for being here. This concludes the live stream portion of our weekly Tong Ren session. So if you'd like to join us on Zoom next time, you can register using the link in the description. Registration does close 24 hours before the session. Space is limited, so be sure to sign up early. We'd love to see you in a future session. And as we wrap up, I encourage you to drink some water to help integrate the energy from today's session and just give yourself some time to rest, to breathe, and allow the energy to settle. Thanks again for being with us today.